Hey guys, this is Ben Golliver for SB Nation NBA, and guess what? The Miami Heat took care of business 94-91, eliminating the Chicago Bulls in 5 games in their Eastern Conference Semifinals series. Miami will now advance to face either the Indiana Pacers or the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. And frankly, we're all just sitting around here waiting for somebody to be able to give these guys a game. And, Miami kind of took its eye off the ball a little bit in this one. I mean, they raced out to this gigantic start. I mean, it was almost comical. I mean, you started to wonder whether Chicago was going to even be able to keep within, half the number of points as Miami was getting. I mean, you look at the scores in this game, 8-0, 9-0, 18-2. I mean, 20-4. I mean, it was just ugly, and you kind of felt bad for Chicago, who's obviously walking wounded and playing without a number of their key players, in addition to Derrick Rose, of course. Also, Kirk Hinrich's not available. Luol Deng's not available, and there's sort of just a medical core who's ever left after all these ridiculous injuries that they've suffered during their playoff run. Dwayne Wade, I think, is a story for Miami. The big question mark coming into the game was how was he going to be able to play with this knee issue. There's a lot of hand-wringing down in Miami because clearly if he's not at 100% or close to 100%, they're a totally different team. Wade responded pretty well, putting up 18 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He got going early, and he also was a big factor late. He had 6 points late in the game down the stretch of the fourth quarter, and it was kind of a tight back-and-forth game after Miami played with it a little bit, gave back all of their early lead to a Bulls run there in the second and third quarters. So, I mean, ultimately, this was Miami's series to win easily from the start. After what Chicago went through in 7 games against the Brooklyn Nets, you realized Miami was going to be the favorite. There wasn't really any question about it. The only question was how many games was it going to take. They kind of took their eye off the ball in Game 1 a little bit. They definitely took their eye off the ball in the middle of this game, but when push came to shove down the stretch, they were able to do it. I think one other piece of intrigue is, whether LeBron James is finally going to get fined for flopping. I mean, there was clear blow to the face by Nate Robinson, but when you look at the replay, James clearly snapped his head back. That's the kind of motion that can get you fined. We saw Zaza Pachulia of the Atlanta Hawks get fined for something like that. Actually, in the NBA's official flopping video, we saw Chris Paul get singled out for making the same kind of a motion where you snap your head back to really exaggerate the contact and make it seem like you took a much harder blow than you really did. So, I mean, that's what we've got for intrigue in this series, frankly, because it wasn't anything to do basketball-wise. All we talked about was flagrant fouls, technical fouls, ejections, fines for Coach Tom Thibodeau and Taj Gibson for complaining about the refereeing either on the court in the post-game press conferences, and now in Game 5, LeBron James, will he get fined or not for a flop? I mean, that's all you really got to talk about at the Heat, who just continue rolling. Nobody can stop these guys. I'm not sure if either Indiana or New York, it will most likely be Indiana, if either one of those teams is going to give them any sort of a push here in the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll remember back to last year, it was really a good test for Miami. It took them 7 games to dispose of the Boston Celtics, and that was really a hard-fought back-and-forth series. The way Miami's playing right now, it's hard to see whether we're going to see a repeat of that or if we're going to see them take care of business against perhaps the Pacers, just like they did in last year's Eastern Conference Semifinals. Now it's rest time for Miami. Certainly they're going to give Wade as much treatment as possible. They're going to give LeBron probably a few days off to get right. Same thing with Chris Bosh. But they're clicking on all cylinders, and they're looking forward to continuing their playoff push towards a second title. All right, guys, it's been Ben Golliver for SBNation.com/NBA, and be sure to subscribe to SB Nation on YouTube.